This is The Sports Life.
Rebound off the miss. Purdue has pulled it off. The Boilermakers will raise the trophy. They are the Big Ten Tournament champions. They knock off the 1 seed Michigan. And they'll try to ride this momentum into the NCAA tournament.
And welcome to the Sports Life. We'll team in here along with Dalton Schettler, the voice of Iron Eagle, as he calls the end of the Big Ten's title game as Michigan is upset by the Boilermakers of Purdue. And Dalton, I would guess Purdue's off and running, feeling good about themselves. And for Michigan, who didn't lose many games all year, now they got to reflect just a little bit.
That's right.
Well, we have a pretty good show lined up for you today. And one of the great things about sports in general is, how did a great event start? And I think the Big Ten basketball tournament has become that. People look forward to it. It's kind of a big deal. Mark Rudner, one time associate commissioner with the Big Ten, was in the room where it happened. So we're going to talk to Mark about how this whole thing began.
Absolutely. That'll be a lot of fun. And also, another great story with UCLA Bruin forward Steven Jamerson, who started his career at Michigan State not even playing basketball and ends up playing at UCLA. We'll bring you that one-on-one conversation a little bit later on. And Michigan State hockey, they've won not one, not two, but 3 Big Ten titles in a row. We'll be catching up with the head coach, Adam Nightingale.
Okay, the sounds of the week, Dalton.
We got some Big Ten tournament flavor to the proceedings here on the Sports Life this week. Head coach Matt Painter on CBS was asked by Tracy Wolfson a little bit about what turned around for Purdue in that win over Michigan in the title, and here's what Matt Painter had to say.
Yeah, we've been much better defensively. There's no way around it. Our guys have really committed here in the Big Ten tournament. We had some struggles defensively. We've been really good scoring the basketball. We got a great offense. Today we were better defensively. We built on it in this tournament, and hopefully it helps us in the NCAAs.
How about the unselfishness? 21 assists, 11 of those from Braden, just 2 turnovers.
Yeah, he's fabulous, man. When we get a matchup that we like, his ability to pass and get the ball where it needs to be really helps us out.
Some of the thoughts of Matt Painter, and I think he's right, Dalton. When they showed up in Chicago, they weren't the same team that lost senior day at Mackey Arena. They looked very different.
This is the team that everybody expected before the season, right? I mean, it feels like a long time ago, but they were preseason number 1 in the country. And then they end up being the 7th seed in the Big Ten tournament before ripping off 4 wins in 4 days to hoist the hardware there. They knock off the Michigan Wolverines, who actually got to the championship game with some late-game heroics from Yaxel Lendenborg. He hit this game winner as called by the voice of the Wolverines, Brian Bush.
Timer at 10. Left elbow, Morrow with 8. Looks right to Johnson. Handoff Cadeau with 6. Drifting right corner. Guarded by Rapp. Over Yax. Right wing 3 for the win. Oh, yeah!
Yes, sir.
68-65, Michigan. It took almost 80 minutes for Yaxel Lendenborg to make his impression on the Big Ten tournament. And the league's player of the year does it on a 3.
By the way, that other voice you heard was Michigan great Terry Mills.
That's right.
And so the one thing I thought about when that play happened and some of the other games Michigan played coming down the stretch, Dalton, I just thought they were living on the edge, and we found out where the edge was when they played Purdue the next day.
Absolutely. And we've seen that Michigan team make some big plays down the stretch, but that Purdue team put themselves a little too far away from Michigan to even have a chance at making some of those big shots.
Boiler up. Well, when we come back with more of the Sports Life, we're going to talk about how the Big Ten tourney all began with Mark Rudner. It's all coming up in just a moment.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
If you have diabetes, listen up. If you have insurance, you can qualify for a continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends and spend more time in range, significantly lowering your A1C. More importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and if you've seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for your own CGM right now. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances will cover your CGM, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the Aptiva Medical CGM Health Hotline right now.
800-948-6912. 800-948-6912. 800-948-6912. That's 800-948-6912.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Roxanne Watson is on a mission.
Hello, how are you doing today?
She wants more people to register as organ, eye, and tissue donors.
Are you an organ donor? Yes, I am. Yay.
My goal is to sign up the most people in the United States.
What drives her? Roxanne's own life was saved through the gift of a heart transplant, made possible by an organ donor.
I decided that day that I was going to devote myself to the cause of organ donation and signing people up and honoring my donor by doing that.
Now she's back to health, and she's a powerful force helping to save lives every day through her work. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life.
8 people can be helped with the major organs, and up to 50 people can be helped with a little bit of everything. And when you think about it that way, that you could help that many people, it's amazing. It really is.
Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
And welcome back from the Sports Life. Will Team in here along with Dalton Shetler. And don't forget, auto owners insurance, simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you. Well, we're hot into postseason basketball play, and one of the hot tickets every year has become the Big Ten's postseason tournament. And it's amazing the numbers that this tournament has generated. Almost 2.4 million fans have attended these tournaments. That's an average session of over 17,000. And keep in mind, one of the years only had one day and it was canceled because of COVID. And then that was followed up by a year with limited attendance because of COVID. So when you factor those two things in there, wow, those are amazing numbers. But the one thing we don't talk a lot about was, where did this start? Whose idea was it to do this? And who thought it might be good for the Big Ten to be involved in something that other conferences already were involved in? Well, there's a person that has those answers, and he's Mark Rudner, 40 years with the Big Ten, served 3 commissioners, Wayne Duke, Jim Delaney, and Kevin Warren, and he left when he retired as a senior associate commissioner. And Mark, it is so good to have you join us. And by the way, how you doing?
Well, Will, I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for asking. Retirement is a good thing if you can do it. So I'm a interested observer. It's been quite a basketball season this year, one that I truly can't remember being so close as it's been. So it's been pretty good. Thanks for asking.
Well, Mark, let's go back to when this tournament started. At some point, I'm sure there were discussions. Should we do this? Should we not do it? I remember some traditionalists, and I'll throw Bobby Knight's name out there, for example. No way we should do such a thing because the real champion is the regular season. I'm sure you heard all those kind of conversations. So at the end of the day, What led the Big Ten down this road?
So I think it really does need to begin with Jim Delaney's hiring as commissioner in 1989. Even though there had been discussion back in the late 70s and early 80s about a Big Ten tournament, it really wasn't until Jim came on board in 1989 that it began to pick up steam. You know, you'll probably remember that there were two conferences that did not have a postseason tournament. It was the Ivy League and the Big Ten. And he saw that more as a negative in terms of Big Ten branding, basketball branding, because really for the last week of the season when there was no tournament, Big Ten basketball would just get lost in the national consciousness of basketball because we didn't have a postseason tournament and everybody else did. So he came on board in 1989, and Jim was he's a basketball junkie. He played basketball in North Carolina, and he admitted saying that he was a tournament fan, having played in so many tournaments growing up. And so he would test the waters of a Big Ten basketball tournament. He first tested it with the basketball coaches, and you're right, there were some who were not in favor of it. Bob was not the only coach who didn't want to see a tournament, but there was really strong support among, at the time it was 10 institutions playing basketball, but it was 11, including Penn State. And there was support among the coaches. It was not unanimous, but then it advanced to the athletic directors, and it was pretty much the same, what you saw. The athletic directors supported their coaches. But it wasn't until the mid-'90s, 93, 94, thereabouts, the country was steeped in a recession, and we were looking for ways to try to increase revenue back to the conference, and it seemed like the right time to institute a tournament, and so we got to work, and I would say probably around 1996, the real heavy lifting began to try to institute the tournament, and then obviously in 1998 it came about. But our conference looked at it as more of a celebration of Big Ten basketball at the end of the season, and that's what we created. It wasn't easy, certainly, with 11 institutions to create something that you described earlier as being a real success in terms of fan attendance, television ratings, media rights, etc. And I do think that it helped build the Big Ten basketball brand to what it is today.
Well, Mark, the very first game, March 5th, 1998, Minnesota Northwestern. That was the very first game. Okay, yeah. Well, that's a nice thing, but there's a sidebar story about that game in there.
Yeah, there is. It's funny. I think about it today. So Minnesota Northwestern, first basketball game at the United Center here in Chicago. And we wanted to do something nice for outgoing Commissioner Wayne Duke, who was such a proponent of tournament basketball. He wrote the NCAA tournament handbook along with others. And so we thought that we would honor Wayne by allowing him to do the center ball, the ceremonial center jump before the start of the game, which he did. And so, that happens. The first half is being played. And I was sitting at the scorer's table, and Ed Hightower came over to me towards the end of the first half. And he says, the players are complaining that the ball is too slippery. And that was odd to me because, all the basketballs for the tournament we had broken in, as we do every year, so that when you get to the tournament, they're not as slippery as they are when they come out of the box. So I looked at the ball, and actually the teams played with that ceremonial jump ball for most of the first half of the game, and so we quietly switched balls, and everything was fine, and that was that. But it was certainly an inauspicious way to start the tournament, that's for sure.
So, Mark, the women were playing in their tournament before the men started theirs. Were there lessons learned from that to help the men have the success they've had?
Well, I think to some extent, yeah, there was. I mean, tournament basketball was really not in the conference's DNA, and the women were looking for something that created more of a buzz for women's basketball at the end of the season, and that's when the conference decided, well, let's try a basketball tournament that, for the women, and so we instituted it, and frankly, it was not well attended. We didn't have great television coverage for it. Remember, we're still 10 to 15 years away from instituting BTN when women's basketball tournament was being played, and really the only game in the women's tournament that was being televised was the final on ESPN or ESPN2. So I think we probably did learn something from the women's tournament. At the very least, we learned how to organize it and manage it and administrate it. But and I would like to think that our women's basketball tournament has grown exponentially as well. I mean, we saw great attendance numbers in Minneapolis last weekend, and they were great games. And so I think the level of play in women's basketball has improved over the years. I think fans are now becoming more aware of it and attuned to it. And let's face it, I mean, moms and dads have daughters who, they want to play basketball, and they want to play basketball at the highest level, and they're much higher skilled than they used to be. And it's a fun event to watch. We did take something away from the women, and hopefully the women have taken something away from the men. And, at the end of the day, it's Big Ten basketball, men's and women's basketball that benefits, as do our fans who get to watch it.
Well, and Mark, you continue to talk about the fans and attendance, how it was up for the women. It's been stellar for the men, as Will was talking about at the top of the interview. And I want to go back to a comment you said earlier. You said the vision for the Big Ten tournament, when it was talking about being implemented, was a celebration of Big Ten basketball. And as we look a quarter of a century ago when this thing started to where we are now and those attendance numbers, that seems to be the logical kind of meter to use to gauge the success of that. It seems like this has kind of fulfilled the vision that the Big Ten had. It's a celebration of Big Ten basketball.
It is, and I think we're all very proud of that. We took great pains to make sure that, our partners, whether it be Chicago or Indianapolis or New York or Washington, D.C., also embraced that theme. We could go anywhere and put on a basketball tournament, but you have to have willing partners that are able and willing to do things around the city. Indianapolis, I know you guys have been there for the Big Ten basketball tournament. If any of your listeners haven't been there, it's one of the best places to hold a basketball tournament, and Indianapolis probably did as good a job as anybody in putting on the tournament and really put a lot of pressure on Chicago. Competition is good, especially in the basketball tournament business. And I think, what we saw as a celebration of basketball, Big Ten basketball in Indianapolis, was brought back to Chicago. And, in New York, it's hard. That one year that we were in Madison Square Garden, we were just a very small fish in a very big pond. And yet, you look at the attendance numbers in New York, it sort of dismissed all of the criticism that some people had about Big Ten sports in New York. Nobody's going to care about it. Well, we were sold out at Madison Square Garden, and it was a phenomenal success. So we're going to continue. I'm using that pronoun we. I'm no longer working there, but I still consider myself part of the Big Ten family. and I want to see them be successful. And being in Chicago this week, but Chicago has really embraced this tournament. Chicago is the home of the Big Ten, and I think Chicago's done a really great job of embracing that celebration theme.
Well, Mark, before we let you go, as you look through the whole evolution of this thing, did you believe it would become this major event it has become?
Absolutely. Absolutely did. And I'll tell you why. Our fans love their basketball teams, right? At Michigan State, at Michigan, at Iowa, everywhere across the Big Ten spectrum, they love their sports. And we just knew it was just a matter of time before this caught on. And I would like to think that, we've had so many different champions in this conference. Illinois, Iowa, Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Purdue, Wisconsin. I mean, it's just, I don't think I could have imagined the variety of teams that have won this tournament. And we've seen great players and great plays to win games in the tournament. It's just such a fun event. And Will, for the first 21 or 22 years, I had a front row seat right there at the scorer's table. I can't tell you how many games I've seen close up. It's funny. They put me at the scorer's table at the start because they wanted a familiar face for the coaches to complain to and yell at during the game. And Lord knows I had my share of, complaints. I mean, Coach Izzo, I remember, would talk to me at the scorer's table, and I would not look at him because I couldn't, be seen like that. But anyway, it was just such fun to see, and I hope if any of your listeners ever get a chance to go to the Big Ten basketball tournament, to do so. It is a great weekend.
Well, Mark, it's been wonderful speaking with you, and I hope our paths cross soon somewhere.
I hope so too, Will. You and I go way back a long time, and I wish you well, and I hope we do get to catch up at some point very soon.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Fun chat with Mark Rudner. Up next on The Sports Life, a very interesting story featuring Steven Jamerson of UCLA. It's all coming up in just a moment.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little. But thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-562-2407. 800-562-2407. 800-562-2407. That's 800-562-2407. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Here's a real-life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten divorced and now you're struggling to pay your bills and your credit card debts are completely out of control, you need to call this special debt relief hotline right now. We help people with all kinds of money problems caused by different life challenges, a divorce, a job loss, even heavy medical bills. All these life events can sometimes financially stress you out and cause you to get out of control. We help people get their lives back by showing them ways to consolidate and reduce their debt, in some cases for a fraction of what they owe. If your credit card balances are more than $10,000, call us and learn how to reduce your credit card bills and monthly payments now. Here's our number.
Paid for by Debt.com. Call now, 800-810-1584, 800-810-1584, 800-810-1584. That's 800-810-1584.
And welcome back to the Sports Life. Will Tiemann here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, the draws for the NCAA tournament are out, and UCLA is a 7th seed, and they're in the tourney. And one of the players on that team coming off the bench who gives them some valuable minutes is a forward by the name of Steven Jamerson. Now on the surface, Dalton, that's no big deal, right? He's on the Bruin team. He's played pretty well, and he's helping them in the tournament. Well, it's not quite what it appears. You see, when he got out of high school, this Los Angeles native decided, as a freshman, he's going to go to Michigan State, and he's going to walk on the basketball team or be a manager. Well, neither one of those things happened for him. And he went on to have a good run at San Diego, and he had 1 year left, and he went back home to see what he could do in the Big Ten, and he's doing quite nicely. So you ask yourself, the guy's in L.A., he's coming to Michigan State, he wants to walk on and see if he can get on the Spartan basketball team. So you ask yourself the obvious question. Did Tom Izzo have anything to do with this? And here's his answer.
No. None at all, actually. It was really just hopes and aspirations, just believing in myself and thinking that I would be able to, impress the coaching staff there. And it did not end up working out, but that's okay. I learned a lesson from it, so it's good.
And so when you didn't get the opportunity to even walk on, what was your mindset then?
Whenever I thought about it, maybe I was a little bit depressed and upset, but I just stuck with it because I was still in a good place, and I was with my friend, so he was able to help me out and help me fix my mental. And I never really stopped working out. I was hoping for an opportunity at the end of the school year too. So I was there. I stayed in Case Hall, and so the closest gym to me was IM West. I would wake up around 5:30 every morning and get to the gym right when it opens. I believe it opened at 6. Just a cool little walk for a few blocks to get there, and lift in the morning, then go straight to the gym upstairs, the basketball gym upstairs, and just start getting shots up. And then for the rest of the day, do school or just do whatever a normal student would do. So that's how my day-to-day ended up being since I wasn't on the team. So I got to experience different things from a different perspective. So it was cool.
So Steven, you said you learned something from that whole experience. What was it?
Go where you're wanted, not where you really want to go. And sometimes that can be a hard decision to make. And I'm still trying to fully learn it to this day because, some people show even more interest than others. Like there could be two different parties that really want you and one could be showing more than the other. So it can still be hard for situations like that. But the baseline is don't ever go where you're not wanted. Or where you would prefer to go. I think that it should be in your top decision to go somewhere where people want to have you around them because you'll get the opportunity to, grow and strive in that type of system.
Well, you decide to go back to Los Angeles after your freshman year at Michigan State. How did you wind up with Coach Lavin out at San Diego?
Man, It was crazy just because it was just a random situation that, you know, random string of situations that led to it. I was trying to get film because I knew I was transferring and I wanted to go somewhere. So I was trying to get film to, show coaches that I can play somewhere. And I was in this adult league in the Valley called the Lutes. And before my first game, I was hopping out the car and some guy just finished his game before mine. He was walking past and he noticed me, just my height. He's just talking to me. He's like, "Dang, bro, how tall are you?" And we just got into it with the conversation. And he asked me if I had a trainer. And I said, no, I didn't. And he recommended me to this guy called Wayne Slappy down in Santa Monica. And basically he had the connections with Coach Lavin and the staff. He was familiar with some of them, so he was able to, reach out on my behalf, where I was able to go in and try out for a walk-on spot later on, maybe a few weeks after that initial encounter. So it was so random, but it was a blessing, like God-given, I would say. So, it was awesome.
So your 3 years in San Diego, and I do want to talk a little bit about your performance. 61 starts there. You led the team in rebounding and percentage of shots going in back-to-back years. Had a handful of double-doubles, 10 to be exact. So you really played pretty well there. So can you talk about the patience of getting to that level? Because the first year, not so much, but it kept getting better for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first year, it was really more of a learning year for me, especially since I was injured for a little bit over half of the season, and I was still dealing with an ankle injury when I came back. So just trying to, work around that and learn how to improve myself was the main priority. We had a great coaching staff over there that was really patient with me and wanted the best for me. So, I had all the time, not all the time, but, all the space to, develop and just grow, because I had the right mindset and I came in every day wanting to get better and wanting to work hard. So I think that was that was one of the main reasons why I was able to do so well.
Well, Steven, you did more than real well, and now you have 1 year of eligibility left. What led you to not go back for that next year at San Diego, and how'd you get to UCLA?
I don't know. I guess I just felt like it was probably time for a change. I kind of wanted to see a new side of the NCAA basketball world. I appreciate the West Coast Conference for everything that they did for me and for our university over there. I was able to graduate from the University of San Diego, so that was great. And I just wanted to see what else was out there and test the waters. And luckily for me, UCLA reached out to me. Coach Savino gave me a call, and it was still a hard decision. At the end of the day, there were other schools that I was really interested in thinking about going to, but I made the decision to come here, and now I'm still working hard.
Well, Steven, life can be really strange sometimes. So now you're Bruin, you're in the Big Ten, and you're heading to East Lansing to play Michigan State, where you spent your freshman year and couldn't get a walk-on spot. What was it like when you guys stepped on the floor for the warm-ups?
It was fun. It was fun because I wasn't alone in the feeling that I got from the student section, because, Xavier Booker went there too, and they were teasing mainly him, a little bit of me, but, just the energy and the atmosphere around that arena was just great to be in, because, I'd always dreamed of playing in that arena. I kept telling myself one day I'm going to be here on that floor in the big moments doing stuff like that. So it was really just a full circle moment for me, and to see the fans. Well, let me track back, because during one of the early stages of the warm-ups, I was working on my touch shot, and I shot one short, and the student section that was already there just started going crazy and wild. And every time I missed a shot, from there on out, they just made some type of sound effect, like, oh, ah. And just feeling that, I just felt love. I know they were trolling me, and all of that, but just to feel that I felt like it was love, and it just made me feel great, and it's just that whole experience. I'm just really grateful for it.
Okay, this is one that really got my attention. At the end of your bio, they talk about your mom and your dad, right? And they say,
yes,
your dad, Steven, is a retired audio mixer. Okay, if you stop there, okay. But then you keep reading and you see he worked at DreamWorks, Animation, Sony, Disney, 20th Century Fox, and they even list here Motown, Hitsville Studios. That sounds really cool. Did your dad get to take you in and you got to see cartoons or music or anything?
Man, no music. That was before my time, but the cartoons, yes. When he worked at DreamWorks, we had the Take Your Kids to Work Day, and man, that was a blast for me. The food court, they had the icing machines and all the goodies and snacks, and even in the recording studios, they had a whole bunch of snacks. That was the main thing I liked back in the day. But the recording studios were awesome to be in, and just to be able to witness my dad at work was a blessing. And during that shadow day, they took all of the kids to this one section of the campus where they have these bodysuits where they track motions of the characters. Like we learned how they made Puss in Boots. They gave them the bodysuits and displayed how the characters moved, because it's not really drawn or anything. It's more so animated through the motions of actual human beings doing the motions. So seeing stuff like that was really cool, and it was definitely a fun experience to have.
Okay, Steven, here comes my final question. You're from Los Angeles. You begin your college career in the middle of the Midwest in East Lansing, Michigan, at Michigan State. How did you handle the weather?
Oh, man, I think I handled it well. My parents set me up very well with the gear. I had my boots and I had my jacket, so I was prepared. And it got a little bit too hot for me in LA. I don't know. Maybe that sounds crazy, but living there all my life, I wanted just a change. I wanted to experience the four seasons. So that was another main reason why I wanted to go to Michigan State. And I've always been fascinated with snow. Like, as we're on the phone right now, I'm looking out the window of Chicago and it's snowing right now. So I've always enjoyed stuff like that. So I didn't really have an issue with the weather. I greatly enjoyed it. One of my first weeks on campus, move-in day, there was a tornado warning. All the clouds were overhead, and you could hear the sirens. And my mom was looking at me. She said, "You need to get inside right now. Get inside Case Hall right now." She's yelling at me. I'm fascinated, trying to figure out what a tornado is or if there's going to be one. So it's just, I don't know. That was another thing that I liked.
There you go. Our fun chat with Steven Jamerson. Forward, UCLA Bruins. And by the way, Dalton, I don't know about you, but I have never, ever heard any Los Angeles native say, "Man, LA's just too hot for me. I want to come to the Midwest and look at snow."
Right.
That was a new one for me. And Steven's kind of living the dream. It's kind of fun that a local kid can wind up playing at the big school in town, UCLA, for basketball. And by the way, his last time out in the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament, he logged 13 minutes, took a couple shots, made both of them, and made his free throw. Not bad. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about a great hockey program that just got greater. Back with more in just a moment.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
If you served honorably in our nation's armed forces and you're looking for a way to continue serving your fellow veterans in your community, then join AMVETS. AMVETS members volunteer millions of hours at VA healthcare facilities from coast to coast, helping to improve the lives of their fellow veterans through the VA Voluntary Services Program. AMVETS posts and departments also participate in a wide variety of community service projects. If you no longer wear the uniform today, you can still serve through the AMVETS by joining today at amvets.org.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-965-1292. 800-965-1292. That's 800-965-1292.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Did you receive a call or message that mentioned Social Security and demanded immediate action? Did the caller know your Social Security number or other personal information and tell you that your Social Security number had been used in connection with the crime? Did you feel worried that your Social Security number might be suspended, your bank account might be frozen or seized, or you could be arrested? That is not the Social Security Administration. Social Security will not threaten you, demand your personal information, or instant payment, email or text you pictures or documents, or use a real government official's name to gain your trust. Social Security does not accept payments by gift card, prepaid debit card, internet currency, or by mailing cash. Criminals use these forms of payment because they are hard to trace. Do not be fooled. Hang up. Ignore them. Report this criminal activity to the Social Security Administration Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
And welcome back for more of the Sports Life. Will Team and here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, the Big Ten is really in good shape in the fall. A lot of strong basketball people in terms of making around the national championship. 12 women's teams got in. That's an amazing number. And then on the hockey front, the field there is also strong coming from the Big Ten. And one of the coaches that has won 3 straight championships in the Big Ten regular season is Adam Nightingale with Michigan State, one of the contenders to win the whole thing this year. And Adam, thanks for joining us. And before we talk about where you are now and what's up and coming, I want to go back just for a second. When you took this job, Michigan State had experienced 6 straight losing seasons. In your first year, you got them to 500, and now you've got 3 straight regular season Big Ten titles. When you took the job, what made you think this was really a good job?
Well, yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, growing up in the state of Michigan, and obviously it's a big hockey state, but always had a ton of respect as a young hockey player for Michigan State and Coach Mason and, the program he had built. It was historically, top 5 for years, and then got a chance to play here for Coach Conley. And, obviously Coach Conley won a national championship here in 2007. And, so I always felt like, obviously it's an unbelievable spot. And then you got this new renovation that really helped. But I just think, when you look at the history and tradition, you look at this campus and university, you look at the state, how many good hockey players there's no reason we shouldn't be a top program.
Well, Adam, I think any time in sports you hear the word three-peat associated with any program or franchise, it's wildly impressive. But I think in the sport of hockey, where things can take weird bounces and inexplicably results can kind of flip on their head, maybe more so than any other sport, it feels like consistent success is a really kind of an illusion in the game of hockey. How have you and the Spartans been able to find that consistent success in a sport that is so improbable at times?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you don't see it often. Actually, in the history of our whatever 83 years we've been playing hockey, and we've never won 3 regular season championships in a row. And so I think you're right. I think everyone talks about handling adversity. A lot of times, I think handling adversity is easier than handling success, and remaining grounded, and remaining hungry, and remaining humble, and going out and try to earn it every night. And I think that even goes to recruiting that type of person or family that's into that. And it's getting harder and harder to find families or players that truly are in it to help the team. And so we try to target those kids, and we recruit it in a way it's not about promises or guarantees. You're going to have to come here and earn it. And I think when we do that, we weed out some of the people that maybe struggle in this type of environment, and likewise we get players that'll thrive.
Adam, when you're out selling, what's your lead sales tool? What's your number one thing besides just the fact you're just a pleasant guy?
Yeah, I know. I think we really, when we want to be genuine and authentic, and what you see is what you get. And when you come on our campus for a visit, it should feel like how it is when you're here as a player. And so definitely not a used car salesman, being brutally honest, giving them things that they need to work on. And again, I think that helps you attract kids that are really want to be part of the team, and then they want to be coached. And I think likes attract like. And so I think when families see that and they're looking for that, it ends up being a pretty easy choice for them to come to Michigan State.
Well, Adam, I hate to pivot the spotlight into maybe a negative area, but we're talking about this Michigan State hockey team as a national championship contender yet again. Just as the Spartans heading into the NCAA tournament last year, a lot of people thought they may have a chance to go and win it all. And it ended right as soon as the tournament started. A 4-3 loss against Cornell to get the NCAA tournament going. It was a stinging loss. And I bring that up because a lot of times that kind of adversity can teach you and the team some lessons, and maybe even work as a piece of motivation. How have you seen that with what that was last year? How does it help springboard your Spartans this year?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that's part of, growing as a program is going through some tough moments. And, that was a tough loss for sure. We, when you look back at the game, I thought we actually played pretty good, and I think the first half of the game, I remember looking up at the score clock, and we were out shooting them 34-4, and the game was tied still. And then it gets into the third period, and it's a tight game, and Cornell's got a heck of a team, and we took a penalty and they scored, and our season's over. But I think the big things we learned is execution. We really played well that first half of the game, but you got to finish on your chances. That's part of being a good hockey team. And obviously goalies can play well, and there's you got to get more traffic this time of year and make it hard on them. And I think just staying with it. I thought a little bit too, right when it was tied. I thought again we had some still usefulness on our team, and felt like hair on fire a little bit in the third period. And we talked about that a lot this year, where we want to try to be a machine, and we're not worried about the scoreboard. There's no panic in our group, and I think our guys have grown in that area.
If Ohio State should beat Michigan for the postseason championship, do you still think the three mainstays of the season will make it, or will the Ohio State being a fourth?
Well, actually, right now, so it's us, Michigan, Penn State, and Wisconsin are all in the tournament if it started today, and I think Wisconsin's at 12. So really, I think Wisconsin's the one that potentially could be in trouble if Ohio State got, but I could see a scenario where there's 5 of the 7 teams making it, and I think that speaks a lot to our conference. And you look at Ohio State, their record. You can look at their record, but I mean they lost 5 games in overtime. So all of a sudden you flip those from losses to wins. They're 100% in the tournament. Their goalie's playing way better, and so they got a legit chance of winning our conference tournament. So I think it'd be awesome. I mean, we haven't won a national championship since the conference was formed, and Michigan State's the last Big Ten school to win it back in 2007. So Obviously, we want to do it, but hopefully someone from our conference does.
5 of 7 teams would just be mind-boggling. But, Adam, I do want to ask you this twofold here before we end up letting you go here in just a moment. On one hand, I want to ask you, because, again, we're talking about a three-peat of a Big Ten championship with your program, and not every team is the same. So on one hand, I want to ask you, what is different? What is unique about this year's team compared to the others in your tenure? What makes this one special? And on the other hand, what about this team, the DNA, the makeup, allows itself to be in a position to have a lot of success in the postseason?
Yeah, you're right. Everyone is different, right? I look back. Our first one, I think we were picked to finish 4th or 5th. So I think we snuck up on some people. In these last 2, we were picked to win it, and there's you're the hunted then, and so I think that really forced us to be at our best. But I think this group, the youthfulness of it, when you look at our 5 of our top 9 forwards are freshmen, and seeing them grow throughout the year, and I think that's what we really enjoyed about this group. I mean, we really haven't had one day at the rink where the guys didn't give us everything they have from practice and games, and they enjoy being at the rink. You look how long our season is. I mean, our guys got here July 1st, and we practice really hard, and the fact that it's in March here and the guys' tails are still wagging on the ice, I think that's really made this group special, and using that enthusiasm in a good way to help us win hockey games.
Okay, Adam, before we let you go, I got to ask you a non-X's and O's question. If there's a sport, let's take Tom Izzo, for example, in basketball. During the game, he's a fairly animated individual, but when you're on the bench during the game, you have this stoic look. I call it the hockey look. It's like, did you practice that? You just got this look, and I never know if we're winning or losing.
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing for sure is when you get into coaching, you gotta be who you are, right? You can't try to be someone you're not. And obviously, Tom's the greatest to ever do it, and but that's genuinely who he is. And I think hockey's such a fast sport. It's chaotic out there, and so I think the calmer your bench can be, it allows the players to think the game and go out and execute. And it's a really hard sport to execute at the level you need to be a good hockey team if you're feeling stressed out. So you try to, and we want our team to have that mentality too, because it really is. We really don't judge our guys on the scoreboard. We don't talk a ton about winning. It's about dominating your shift, and so I think that helps our guys have a little calmness to their game.
The famous hockey look. Now I know.
Yeah.
Adam, I sure appreciate it. Good luck with the draw and good luck in the tournament.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. Some of the thoughts of Adam Nightingale, the head coach of the Michigan State hockey team. 3 straight regular season championships. Looking forward to where they go and who they play in this year's NCAA tournament. Back with more in just a moment.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little? But thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
Everything is expensive right now. Gas, food, you name it. You're spending more, you are making the same or less money. So, what do? You rack up credit card debt. That's what you do. It's not your fault. It's the economy. And guess what? If you rack up too much credit card debt like some of us, you can't pay your bills. Then the credit card companies, as nice as they are, start hounding you for money. Then you start your downward spiral. A smart thing for you to do is to call the Zero Debt. They can help you consolidate all your credit card bills into one affordable payment. Millions of people have done it. It works to make you debt-free. Make this free call right now. It costs you nothing to learn more.
800-298-9093. 800-298-9093. 800-298-9093. That's 800-298-9093.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid. But there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. Learn more at wearebroadcasters.com/hope. Furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking?
Al-Anon and Alateen can help.
Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player. No matter the challenges I face every day in the NFL, my mom is always there for me, despite her own struggles with muscular dystrophy. And MDA is there for my mom. At their 150 care centers across the U.S., MDA is the leading organization in research and care for kids and adults with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and related neuromuscular diseases. Join me and learn more at helpmda.org today. Thank you.
And welcome back for more of the Sports Life. Will Team here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, we had a pretty fun show this week. It's always good to reflect on how something starts, the beginning of the Big Ten men's basketball tournament. Steven Jamerson, the UCLA forward. That's an interesting story. And, of course, Adam Nightingale. What he's done with the MSU hockey revival is amazing. So, having said that, it is now time for the parting shots.
Well, make sure you check all of that out at Sports Life Now on Twitter or X. That's again at Sports Life Now. We'll have everything posted there, so make sure you give us a follow on X. For my parting shot, this is just a very simple courtesy call of a PSA to the community out there. It is March Madness. This is the greatest time of the year if you're somebody like me. Basketball is my favorite sport. I love this time. It's like Christmas. Do yourself a favor. Don't get wrapped up in the brackets. If you get a couple wrong in the first block of that Thursday, don't all of a sudden turn sour on the greatest time of the year. Enjoy this. If you lose the brackets, who cares? Just have fun and enjoy what is maybe the greatest fan experience that we have.
Because my brackets are so bad, I quit doing it.
That's a good call. That's wise.
One year, our middle kid beat me, and she just picked colors. So
that's really what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. Well, my parting shot goes back to a guy named Neil Stoner. Neil Stoner was one time the athletic director at the University of Illinois. In the part of the story I'm going to go to, he was also the head of the NCAA selection committee one season. So the bracket was announced. And in a post-bracket interview, he proclaimed the NCAA men's basketball tournament is the biggest sporting event in the country. And you're going, okay, what happened to the Super Bowl? And he said, it's not about that. What makes this tournament so big is the fact that it's the only sporting event in our country that touches the whole country. Little towns, big towns, regions, states. And he said because of that, everybody's involved, and they all fill out brackets. So there you go. That is my parting shot. And with that, I appreciate everybody who joined us this week. And we should also know that you can find us wherever you find your podcasts, like SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple. And make sure to check us out and hit subscribe. Always thanks to the Big Ten Network. The Sports Lab is produced by Dalton Shetler, and our executive producer is Wendy Hart. So on behalf of Dalton, I'm Will Tiemann, and thanks for your time.